The Warm Stove 2020 update subsegment. Yeah, Drew Smyly got a lot of money, $11 million, and that's now not from the Dodgers, obviously. He went to Atlanta, and you wonder, is this really going to set the market? Because he's not worth that much money. He's not very good. And there was a point where he was going to be maybe good.
Right.
So it's a little weird. It's kind of weird. The big one, the big rumor. Well, I mean, have you seen anything on Arenado? Because I saw that. We did have a comment earlier, Brandon on Twitter. Brandon at B. Kaylee, whoever he is. Appreciate the comment. And I've seen him in the stream, by the way. We appreciate also hanging out with us in the stream, Brandon. Asking, could we see a Dodgers-Cubs trade? Because there have been, I guess this isn't Arenado, but there's been some people trying to link the Dodgers to Bryant, and there was something about Kyle Schwarber in there. Yeah, the only thing I've really seen is people trying to forcibly link Lindor to LA, but I haven't seen any of the Bryant stuff. I haven't seen any of the Arenado stuff.
I think that both of those things have just been linked to the fact that what's the nicest way to say it? Justin Turner is battling Father Time. He's in a battle against him, and he's not going to win that battle. He's not young. He's not old. He's not LaTroy Hawkins old.
Yeah.
He's not Julio Franco old, but he's aging. He's getting there. His defense is on decline. His defense has been in decline for the past, what would you say, 3 years? Past 3 years in a defensive
took a
spiral.
Huge step up during the postseason.
Absolutely, he did. He did some things to compensate for the fact that he's old and his arm doesn't work quite the way it used to. You notice somebody asked me, why does he hop the ball over to first so often? And I was like, well, that was a recommendation made by the infield. Dino Ebel said, hey, you're not going to make it on the fly anymore, man. Why don't you take a step back, play off the line, and make it on a hop and get there just as quick?
Well, especially there on the turf. He was playing that turf tremendously. He played that so perfect, watching those hops. And that happens a lot. That's just a veteran understanding the situation and playing it to his advantage right there. So notably, there will be no DH because I see Santiago talking about JT being still a great bat. I think he's got another season of being, third spot worthy.
An effective bat. Very effective.
An effective bat. He's somebody, the power's gone. That's not really going to be his thing. But he's still somebody that can keep the line moving. And you don't always need a bopper there in that 3-hole. You need somebody that's going to get on base with something he can do. Maybe, that's somebody like Will Smith can eventually supplant him in that spot because Willie gets on base as soon as he can start hitting it hard, but not right at people.
He does hit it hard.
Will Smith is going to be a fantastic, complete ball player that gets all of the recognition of the league. He's going to get JT Realmuto type of recognition by baseball. But because the batting average isn't pretty, he doesn't get that yet. Yeah, but JT good. It's just, he's the right kind of guy to bring back, and I think he's a step up over somebody like Kris Bryant, who, granted, only had one bad year last year.
So Megan Ashley said over on Periscope, she said, Kris Bryant's not an upgrade over JT, and I would agree with that for a lot of reasons. Mm-hmm. Number one, the glove is, to me, very average. It's nothing special. Doesn't stand out. Defense, you're not necessarily always looking for defensive prowess at third base as a primary thing. You're mostly looking for a bat out of their third base position. Mostly, Kris Bryant hit at Wrigley, which is supposed to be a good stadium to hit at.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to definitely play in the hitter's favor. You got those baskets out there. You got the wind blowing out. There's a lot of things that play into your favor out there. He not only did not hit well this year, he hit terribly. He was an awful player this year.
He was really bad.
Add in the fact that they also went through that entire court battle just to get this extra year of him, and this is the extra year. It's really great, really funny. The irony there is just beautiful.
Way to go, Chicago.
If you're telling me that the reason why Kris Bryant were to come to LA, let's just say he did, was to replace Justin Turner, I would be mad about that. And that's not something that you can often say for a guy that's younger. Choice Fielder, friend of the show, friend of me, friend of us over on Twitter, he says Bryant's hard hit rate has declined year after year for his entire career. There is something to be said about hard hit rate. There is something to be said about hitting the ball hard in your life. Obviously, you don't hit the ball hard, but you have a really high batting average. You have a lot of luck. That's all that really is to that. There's not a lot more to it than that. But if you're telling me that Kris Bryant's the guy to supplant Justin Turner, and that's definitely not the case, that's not happening, that's not something that's about to happen, I would be upset by that. On the other hand, if you're telling me that Nolan Arenado is the guy to supplant him, I feel better about that. I don't know how you feel about that. I feel much better about that. Megan said JT is the glue that holds us all together, holds the whole team together. 100% agree with that. He does so much for LA, but
I like what
have to replace him.
I like what Aaron says. JT is an elder statesman who's still balding. Balling. He's balding too, but he's still balling.
It's a good point.
Broke,
it's a good point.
Fix it.
It's not like he's a guy that you're like, we should keep him around because he's a good veteran presence, like Chase Utley did for that last year. That was the only reason he was there. It was like, hey, he's a veteran presence. We owe it to him. He needs to be around. That's not the case with JT. The JT is still a very good player who, by the way, could be signed away by another team because he is still balling.
This is real. With Arenado, we've talked about this. I don't know if we've actually talked about it on the show as Katie throws $3.99 our way for Brooks Mustache Memorial Fund.
Oh, bless that mustache. 2020 to 2020.
We're remembering that glorious time.
I saw a picture of myself and I was like, and I was like, oh, that's me. Whew.
That it me.
Scared myself.
Arenado would absolutely be a great addition to this team. Of course, he's Nolan Arenado. He's somebody who can bat, he can ball, he can defend. However, it's a weird situation because he's an all-time franchise player for the Colorado Rockies, and he's still somebody that's good, even not as good away from Colorado as it tends to be. But he's in an interesting situation because Colorado needs to get good value back from him. They can't just trade him away because they want to get rid of him, or he's mad, or he's due money, which is the situation with like Frankie Lindor, or the situation with Kris Bryant. They want to get rid of him because they're trying to stay under a certain payroll. With Arenado, we've talked about it, where the big issue or the worry is he can opt out of his contract after this coming season, right? He could be a free agent after the 2021 season. So that plays a huge role for both sides. Again, the Rockies need to be able to kind of cover their losses and get really good value. So they would need, let's say, Dustin May, Gavin Lux, maybe even another one, maybe somebody like one of the guys they got. Let's say Clayton Beeter that the Dodgers signed this past. What are they called? Draft. That's what they're called. Yes. Sorry, I should have had draft. I should have had beer on the mind with all the beer fun that we're getting from people. We appreciate you again. So that's a lot of value. And I know somebody like SD Dodger Tim, noted prospect hugger, would have huge problems trading away Gavin Lux and May and somebody like a Beater for somebody that could be gone after a year. And that's the same situation with Frankie Lindor. Frankie Lindor is definitely a free agent after this coming year. So I don't know. How do you feel about that? Like, yeah, you have somebody that could be an added franchise player, but even on top of that, you got to worry about paying your other guys. You got to worry about paying if you're going to pay Bellinger. You got to worry about Seager, who's a free agent after next year. You got to worry about making sure Walker Buehler is around as long as Clayton Kershaw's been around. There's a lot of little intricacies to it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that you said is that people still have to get paid, and that's something that we need to take under consideration for the foreseeable future, because there's a lot of young guys that are going to need to get a lot of money over the next couple of years. You look at Nolan Arenado, he is a guy who I think the Rockies are kind of not in a great position for a lot of reasons. Number one, he was very vocal about being unhappy about being in Colorado. Not about being in Colorado, but about the fact that Colorado was not competing. Yeah. That didn't just go away because they gave him money. That's still there, and that was amplified by the fact that they were just garbage.
I love that he complained about it, and then was like, "Ooh, I'll
and then
take
took the money." They were like, "Hey, we suck. What the hell?" And they were like, "Here's a lot of money." And he's like, "Deal, yeah. I'll take it. Give me that opt out after the 2021 season because I want to make sure that if you guys still suck, I'm going to opt the hell out of this contract." And so, if you're looking from Colorado's standpoint, in my mind, it is in Colorado's best interest to trade Nolan Arenado. Oh, yeah. Does that mean that he's going to the Dodgers? No, that does not mean that he's going to the Dodgers for a lot of reasons. Most importantly, the fact that he costs so much damn money, and that he's probably going to. I mean, I don't know. You hear the rumors that he wants to play in LA, that he wants to play near home. He's from Southern California. It would make sense on paper that he'd want to come and play for the Dodgers, who just won the World Series. Mm-hmm. All of that makes sense. with that in mind, you don't know what he's going to want to play or where he's going to want to play or what he's going to want to do. So there's just a lot of uncertainty to it. There's just too many question marks for me to say I'm okay committing prospects and the money that it takes to keep him for maybe 1 year, but maybe longer.
Let's say you were talented at anything.
I'm not, but yes.
I know, but at anything in your life, and a lot of different people wanted to give you money.
Right.
Would you shop your talents around if you were given that option? Like if you can be like, okay, I can be here for the rest of my life, or I could see what this place wants. Or what
I'm always going to be open to offers.
Oh, crap. Gary said help.
Better lock me down, Gary. I might be going over to, what's that site called? Rocky's Nation. Rocky's Nation. It's my next website.
Personal foul.
Yeah.
Tim is in the stream. Wasn't sure if he's in the stream. Tim says, I see some decline in Arenado. Pass on that money on the backside of 30. On the other side, the other end of it, we don't know what JT's going to be trying to get. You would hope he would kind of maybe look at getting some hometown discount, legacy money type thing. I don't know. That's another thing where it's kind of a weird situation where some people have the value of JT being really high, but at the same time, he's 36. What
does your body feel like at 36? Because at 27, it doesn't feel good.
At 35, it feels like absolute dog crap. Like not regular, absolute. So you have to be drunk to survive. But I've seen some people agreeing to like saying, 2 years and $35 million sounds like a good deal. I was like, that sounds like a terrible deal. That's way
2
too
years,
much.
35?
Yeah, it's way too much money for JT.
Oh my God.
Like, I love you, Justin, but damn, bro, you're not getting that. What's your cap on a contract for him?
Man, I just see like a 2 or 3 year contract in his future. I think
going that far.
I do. Yeah, I really do. And I think if you look at how the Dodgers have treated their aging veterans in the past, they go with the team option. And that's a really common thing throughout Major League Baseball. The older you get, the more you're inclined to offer team options for years.
But those are complementary pieces to David Freese.
They're not key pieces. And I think that's the biggest difference.
Yeah.
So you look at Chase Utley's last contract, it was 2 years. And he obviously didn't make it through that contract. But you look at Justin Turner, and if they were to offer him a 3-year contract, I think 2 of those years would be spent very well and very useful. And the 3rd year of that contract's kind of a toss-up. It could go either way. It could be a Chase Utley type of situation where he's kind of just aged out and not very good, or he could still be very effective. You don't know. So I think for that 3rd year, it's going to be a team option. Dude, I just do not see a situation where the Dodgers pay more than like $14 million a year for him in an annual average. I just don't see him getting that kind of number from anybody at this age.
Yeah.
Who needs an aging third baseman in a league in Major League Baseball when there's so much talent to be spread around?
Young Yi on YouTube says Adrian Beltre played until he was like 40. But yeah, that's Adrian Beltre. That's
Beltre, man.
That's a 90 win player.
He can still play.
Yeah, Beltre absolutely come out and throw up a better season than
Kris Bryant did.
This has been facts with Brook Me 3.
Thank you.
3-year, $21 million from Claudia. That's the thing. I mean, I think I cap at like 10 a year, and that's a lot. Maybe 10, and then it's those declining values or whatever. But you also can't really front load too much unless they really plan on going over the salary cap and then getting under it, and that's another whole can of worms where you can't go out and get somebody like Bryant or Lindor or Arenado because you're going to be way over it. But then you're going to stay there while we're losing some guys. Man, and I still got to be GM.
Keep in mind his last contract was a 4-year contract in which he was making an annual average of $16 million a year. He is absolutely in no way, shape, or form going to make more than that annually. There is no way that happens. So if he were to get, if the Dodgers were to give him $10 million a year annually for whatever the contract is, that would be a lot for them in that situation, especially if they're going 3 years with a team option. I think it's not over dramatic to say that they give him a 2-year, $18 million contract with a 3rd-year option for a team. That's not over dramatic.
I'm going 2 years, 18, 10, 8, and there will be a 3rd-year option, mutual, $6 million option, $2 million buyout. Boom, GM.
$2 million buyout. Dang, that's good. Man, you could get paid $2 million to not play. What a life.
Some people get paid.
I wish I was good at anything.
Hella wild.
I wish I was good at anything.